And we are back with Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, along with our live town hall audience. Mayor, let's talk about what's happening in Chicago Public Schools.
And let's go right to Lourdes, who has a student question.
Yeah, I've got a senior at Mather High School, Daquan Ford. And Mayor, I think you're going to like him because I asked him, you heard the mayor talk about purpose and what your purpose is. And you know what he said to me?
What's that?
He said to help people. That is my purpose, which is a very good one, Daquan. You have a question for the mayor, so I'll let you go.
Yeah, so recently Trump signed an executive order that tries to bring back harsh discipline practice that disproportionately impact Black and brown students. So I was wondering, how would you work with the students in the CPS to ensure that we continue to make progress to create safe and supportive schools, especially for the Black and brown youth students that are involved throughout the whole school safety initiative?
Well, thank you for that question, and shout out to all of your classmates and to all of our Chicago Public Schools students who are really the apple of my eye. Look, public education is so vital to our democracy, and ensuring that our public schools see our young people, value their humanity, that is important, right? Because we have to create safe and nurturing, loving, as well as, you know, rigorous, if you will, spaces so that you can maximize your potential. We're going to fight back against this president. What we have seen historically is that these draconian, very harsh policies create hostile environments, and it does nothing to accentuate the fullness of a student's success. And so we are part of a collective effort, the city of Chicago, as we put forth lawsuits pushing back against the Trump administration. And just know one of the main reasons why I wanted to become mayor of the city of Chicago is to create better public schools. You know, look, for too many years, there's been a intentional disinvestment in our neighborhood schools and the criminalization of Black and brown students. I've seen it firsthand as a former public school teacher teaching middle school and high school. And one of the ways in which we can push back is not just through lawsuits, but to ensure that we are investing in restorative justice, that we are investing to make sure that our class sizes are smaller, that we have behavioral and mental health support services in our schools, social workers, counselors, psychiatrists, psychologists. That is the value system that I live by, and that's the type of school district that I'm going to work hard every single day to becomes a reality.
Thank you for that. You actually kind of gave off a little bit off my chest because I was actually waiting to hear that from somebody like you. So I really appreciate you coming out here and actually clarifying that for me.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's talk about the administration, the Trump administration.
It's terrible.
Well,
It's just absolute terrible.
let's talk about how they're investigating CPS, or thinking about investigating CPS, alleging an academic achievement initiative for Black students, which is racially discriminating against other students, therefore violating federal law, they say. So for every white student enrolled in CPS, there are almost 9 Black and brown students. If a court ordered you to get rid of this program, first of all, would you? And what impact would it have on learning for all students enrolled in the district?
No, we're not going to get rid of it. In fact, it's one of the reasons why we push so hard in this teacher's contract to ensure that we're teaching Black history, that we're protecting and preserving the story of America, right? Black history is not separate and apart from the story of America. You know, one of the things that I would raise, or one of the questions that I would raise in my classes when I taught, was the question that W.E.B. Du Bois would ask: what to do with the Negro? That was the question that our country had to deal with. And throughout the course of our history, we have seen the evolution of our democracy through the lens of the liberation of Black folks. It's why in this teacher's contract, we also secured Black and brown veteran teachers, because previous administrations from both political parties have worked to undermine the teaching force. And so whether it's litigation, whether it's organizing and taking to the streets, whether it's legislation or a contract, I'm going to do everything in my power to ensure that America's story is told and protected and preserved. And that's what the people of Chicago and the people of this country ultimately want. We don't want to whitewash the experiences that people have had. That's not the way in which you protect people's humanity. The more we ensure that we're telling our true story and that we're never forgetting our past, it allows us to have a better future, but it also ensures that we don't repeat the sins of the past. And that's why this particular administration is working hard to undermine our story, because there is clearly this denial that the North won the Civil War. And instead of trying to relitigate the Civil War, we should be working to bring people together. And that's what my administration is doing.
All right, another question from the audience.
Yeah, I'm joined by Sheila Love. She's from the west side of Chicago, and she's actually raising her 12-year-old grandson. And you have a question when it comes to that for the mayor.
Yes. My grandson is in a program called Extraordinary Friends of the Children. This program starts at-risk children as early as kindergarten, all the way, and they follow them all the way up to college. And so my question is, programs like this, what type of support would the city provide for programs like Friends of the Children to help our young people, the younger ones? So I know we talk about teens all the
Right.
time. That's the biggest thing now, the teens. But what about our babies? Our babies can't go to the parks. So Friends of the Children steps in for me. They stepped in for a lot of parents on the west side and say, okay, this child is at risk, he has ADHD, he's acting out. So how do the city help support programs like Friends of the Children?
Yeah, well, thank you for that question. And there are so many grandmothers like you that are raising their grandchildren. And it's something that I know that over the years, State Senator Leader Lightfoot has been focused on programs like the one you're describing. And the way the city shows up for programs like what you just described is through our Department of Family and Support Services. So there are opportunities there through our Department of Public Health to support families like yours. One of the things that I do believe that we have to do a better job at is providing behavioral and mental health support services for our young people. The number of young Black and brown students, but young people across the city of Chicago are experiencing a degree of anxiety and higher rates of depression. And programs like yours that you've described, I'm going to work hard to continue to challenge the City Council to help fund those services. As you may know, there are some financial challenges that are in front of us that we're going to work to rectify, but it can't come at the expense of programs and services and organizations like the one that you described. And my heart is with you, and I really believe that there are a lot of people around the city that recognize that your grandson also deserves the support services within our schools. That's the last thing that I'll say. That's why I worked hard to work with Chicago Public Schools, the Board of Education, and the Chicago Teachers Union to ensure that we have more social workers and counselors in our schools, so that those support services are a continuum. They don't just happen outside the building. They have to happen within the school building as well.
Mayor, you mentioned the Chicago Teachers Union contract negotiations are pretty contentious, lasted a year. It'll cost the taxpayers about $1.5 billion. How will you measure whether or not city taxpayers got their money's worth, and what tangible results can students and parents expect?
Well, first of all, I think it's a good thing that we're investing in our public education system. As a parent and as someone who has taught, you can't put a price tag on my child's success. Don't do it. I'll do everything in my power to ensure that my children have everything that they deserve. And I know every parent feels like me. That's the mindset that my father had when he came up from Salis, Mississippi, to create a better pathway to secure generational wealth. And to that point, the average cumulative wealth for white families in Chicago, it's about $200,000. The average wealth for Black families, zero. Education is not just simply about test scores. It's about setting up our children for success so that as we build more affordable homes and create more jobs, that they have the skills and the tools that they need to be able to take advantage of those jobs. The last contract cost the city of Chicago about $900 million. I think we should look at all of our contracts to determine what that success looks like, whether it's the police contract or any other contract, that my job as mayor is to make sure that we're investing in our young people. And so the way in which I believe that we can have proof positive that children are getting what they deserve, it has to be centered around ensuring that the class sizes are manageable, that they have social workers and counselors. You're hearing from the audience what students need. And so, what I'm going to look at is, as we create a healthy learning environment for our young people, where they feel safe and loved and supported, that's the measure of success, quite frankly. And I'm going to do everything in my power to ensure that families have an education system that they can be proud of.
Investments are important. You're pursuing them. But there are fears this will grow the CPS deficit to over $1 billion. So what do you recommend the Board of Education does to be able to pay for this?
Yeah, well, look, there's no secret here that, as much as we appreciate the increase that the state of Illinois has provided for our public schools, everyone knows that we need more. And I'm going to work with the state. We're going to work with the Board of Education. I'm going to work with City Council. We're going to work with the business community because we have a working group to respond to the budgetary challenges that I inherited. We're going to get it right. We're going to do it together. This is not a one person's assignment. This is a collective response that I believe will lead to positive results. The last thing that I'll say on this, if you think about what has happened in the past, you had one administration that said we're going to build 100 schools, and that's going to fix it. Then you had another administration that said we're going to close 50 schools, and that's going to fix it. Let's just try something that we haven't tried before. How about we just invest and fix and improve the schools that we have? That's really what the assignment that I have right now as a public school teacher, as a parent, the first mayor in the history of Chicago to actually send their children to our public schools. I believe in our public schools. And so it's going to take all of us to be able to make sure that our children, our families have everything that they deserve.
And very quickly, the school CEO, Pedro Martinez, is departing. Where are you in that search? And how angry were you that he didn't resign last fall when you asked him to? I mean, we're keeping it honest tonight.
Well, I think we say it in the neighborhood, keeping it 100, but I appreciate, for the broader live studio audience. But yes, let's keep it 100. Look.
We know you never coach.
Look, I mean, here's the part that was disappointing. I could have done what other mayors have done in the past.
Fire
You just
him?
get rid of everyone and you bring in everybody that you know. And, it's disappointing, that, he didn't want to work with me. But as we look to move forward, I want someone to lead our public schools that appreciates public education in neighborhood schools, right? 2/3 of Chicagoans say they support increasing our funding for our neighborhood schools. And someone who has that lived experience, someone who knows the value of our neighborhood schools, someone who is vested in our neighborhood schools, that's the type of leadership that we need, and we didn't have that. But despite that, we were able to settle a contract and make these critical investments for our schools.
And we'll see the search is on?
The search is on.
Okay, we'll take another break. Mayor Brandon Johnson answers more of your questions after this.